Good Friday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Well, we made it to the end of another week. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Friday. We have the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and in today's Entertainment Spotlight, even part of my conversation with author Kelley Murray Skoloda, discussing her new book, A Way Back to Health, 12 Lessons from a Cancer Survivor. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Friday headlines. In international news, Russians keep pressure on Mariupol after hospital attack. Civilians trapped inside Mariupol desperately scrounged for food and fuel as Russian forces kept up their bombardment of the port city on Thursday amid international condemnation over an airstrike a day earlier that killed 3 people at a maternity hospital. Western and Ukrainian officials called the hospital attack in Mariupol a war crime by the Kremlin. Meanwhile, the highest level talks held since the invasion began 2 weeks ago yielded no results. The number of refugees fleeing the country topped 2.3 million, and Kyiv braced for an onslaught, its mayor boasting that the capital had become practically a fortress protected by armed civilians. More than 1,300 people have died in the 10-day siege of the frigid city of Mariupol, according to the deputy prime minister. Residents of the southern seaport of 430,000 have no heat or phone service, and many have no electricity. Nighttime temperatures are regularly below freezing, and daytime ones normally hover just above it. Bodies are being buried in mass graves. The streets are littered with burned-out cars, broken glass, and splintered trees. On Thursday, firefighters tried to free a boy trapped in the rubble. One grasped the boy's hand, his eyes blinked, but he was otherwise still. It was not clear if he survived. Nearby at a mangled truck, a woman wrapped in a blue blanket shuddered at the sound of an explosion. Grocery stores and pharmacies were empty days ago by people breaking in to get supplies, according to a local official with the Red Cross. A black market is operating for vegetables, meat is unavailable, and people are stealing gasoline from cars. Repeated attempts to send in food and medicine and evacuate civilians have been stopped by Russian shelling, Ukrainian officials said on Thursday. They want to destroy the people of Mariupol. They want to make us starve. It's a war crime, they said. The Ukrainian President Zelensky told Russian leaders that the invasion will backfire on them as their economy is strangled. Western sanctions have already dealt a severe blow, causing the ruble to plunge, foreign businesses to flee, and prices to rise sharply. You will definitely be prosecuted for complicity in war crimes, Zelensky said in the video address, and then it will definitely happen. You will be hated by Russian citizens, everyone whom you have been deceiving constantly, daily for many years in a row, when they feel the consequences of your lies in their wallets, in their shrinking possibilities, in the stolen future of Russian children. Russian President Vladimir Putin dismissed such talk, saying the country has endured sanctions before. We will overcome them, he said at a televised meeting of government officials. He did, however, acknowledge the sanctions create certain challenges. In national news, U.S. extends mask rule for travel while weighing new approach. Federal officials are extending the requirement for masks on planes and public transportation for 1 more month through mid-April, while taking steps that could lead to lifting the rule. The mask mandate was scheduled to expire March 18th, but the Transportation Security Administration said Thursday that it will extend the requirement through April the 18th. TSA said the extra month will give the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention time to develop new, more targeted policies that will consider the number of cases of COVID-19 nationally and in local communities and the risk of new variants. The TSA enforces the rule, which extends to planes, buses, trains, and transit hubs. In sports, MLB players vote to end lockout, salvaging 162-game season. Players have voted to accept Major League Baseball's latest offer for a new labor deal, paving the way to end a 99-day lockout and salvage a 162-game regular season that would begin April the 7th. The union's executive board approved the agreement in a 26-12 vote Thursday, pending ratification by all players. A person familiar with it said, speaking to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity because no official announcement had been authorized. MLB sent the players an offer Thursday and gave them until 3 p.m. to accept in order to play a full season. The union announced a player vote around 3:25 p.m. on Thursday. The agreement will allow training camps to open this week in Florida and Arizona, more than 3 weeks after they were scheduled to on February the 16th. Fans can start making plans to be at Fenway Park, Dodger Stadium, and Camden Yards next month. And finally, in business news, stocks slip, oil prices turn lower as uncertainty looms. Technology companies led stocks lower Thursday after another day of choppy trading on Wall Street as global markets keep swinging on uncertainty about where inflation, interest rates, and the global economy are headed. The S&P 500 fell 0.4%, its fifth drop in the last 6 days. The slide marks another reversal for U.S. stocks, which just a day earlier surged to their biggest gain since June 2020, when a tumble for oil prices seemed to take some of the pressure off the world's high inflation. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, take it away.
Hi, this is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Go with the flow of life. Release your attachment to the outcome of any stressful situation. Allow yourself to focus on the now moment as you go with the flow of life. Anxiety can cause you to tense up and resist the flow of life. You can relax as you inhale and exhale, utilizing deep breathing techniques. This will help you learn how to use your energy as you allow the universe and God to work through you. Nervous energy can be the result of stress and work obligations. You can choose to focus on the task at hand rather than the outcome. Release your anxious hold and stop fighting against the current of life. Today, release your anxious hold on anything. Stop fighting against the current and have more energy for today. As you always, enjoy the day.
We are part of my conversation coming up with author Kelley Murray Skoloda in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Author Kelley Murray Skoloda joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to discuss her new book, A Way Back to Health, 12 Lessons from a Cancer Survivor. Here's a bit of our conversation.
Look, I really enjoyed this book, Kelley, because I think, for one, I love the honesty. And, I mean, from beginning to end, I mean, your feelings, I should say, that the subtitle of the book says, 12 Lessons from a Cancer Survivor. You really do show us that this is a process, right? And as you said, it's still a process that you're in right now. So what has it been like for you to share that process with all of us?
You're absolutely right. It has been a process. I mean, from the very beginning when I went in for my very first routine colonoscopy, thinking nothing would possibly be wrong, to finding out that very day that I had cancer, to going through surgery and chemo, talking to lots of survivors along the way. Even just in the past couple of weeks, I've been through my normal twice-a-year surveillance scan, which kind of brings all of those feelings and experiences right back in a very real way. It is a process. So you're absolutely right. It's a learning process. It's a healing and recovery process, both physical and mental, and it continues for quite a long time.
Yeah. Everyone is different, Kelley, and I think what works for one may not work for everyone. We know that some people, when they're given a diagnosis or going through something personal, they go inward. What is it that made you say that you wanted to share your own personal journey with the rest of us?
You're so right. What I have found out through my experiences and talking to many other people is that everyone handles things differently. I guess that's true in life about many things. And when you're faced with a life-threatening diagnosis, people handle it all sorts of ways.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. But as we get on Monday with more news, Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make today amazing. Take care.